Hey, so we're gonna cook chicken and dumplings. We put a video out the other day asking what people wanted to see cooked, and chicken and dumplings got #1. But it is hot out here, so we're gonna cook it on the rocket stove. This is a 4-inch. I also got a 6-inch. People ask a lot of times how you start these things. Well, I've got the raw oak starters, and I just put 2 of them in here. You probably don't need 2. But I'm a little bit of an overachiever maybe. So I'm gonna get them started. And we're just gonna slide this in. We're gonna lock that in to make sure it don't come out. You can see they're burning on the inside. And over here is my fire trough where I would feed my wood. We're just gonna get some wood in here. Let that start burning. And you'll see we'll get a good fire and we can control it. We've got an airflow right here. We've got a lid for this, and we can control the flow and how much heat we get. Once this thing going, it'll blow a flame up here against the pot just like a gas stove would. All right, so we got our heat where we want it. Now at this point, we're gonna put a whole hen. We're gonna put water in here, an onion, bell pepper, and whatever seasonings, and we're gonna boil our chicken for about an hour and get it completely cooked and broke down. All right, boil your whole chicken with your onions, bell peppers, garlic, and any seasonings you want. All right, now that we got our chicken boiled, we got the stock separated. We're gonna saute 1 green yellow onion and 1 green bell pepper. All right, we got them onions and them bell peppers sauteing. We're gonna hit that with a little bit of that voodoo. Oh, we're about out of voodoo. We're gonna have to go get another can. And we're gonna hit it with that sauce bone. So you know, chicken and dumpling is definitely a staple in the South. And most of your meals in the South, if you look at the recipes, the ingredients, you know, it's meals that go a long way with what was available on the land and for the people. Like chicken and dumplings. Everybody pretty much had chicken like we do today. You know, everybody had flour to make their biscuits, the eggs, and everything else. So, you know, the dumplings are very simple to make. We'll show y'all that in a little while. And again, you know, if you look at a lot of the Southern, and not just one state, but all of the South, you look at a lot of their meals, they're very close and similar to each other with the fact of what ingredients they had. Because again, you've got to use the ingredients you had on the land back in the day. You didn't have the option to go get it at a store. You had to get what was available from the local farmers, the people in the area, or what you could grow in your garden. So chicken and dumplings, pretty simple. Chicken, onions, bell peppers, the seasonings you like, a little bit of flour. I'm gonna use the broth with some seasoning to make my dumplings. And again, I like a thin dumpling. I don't like the real fluffy ones, but if you do, you can get a recipe on the fluffy ones. You can use the same recipe, just add the dumplings you want. It all works the same. All right, so I got my onions about halfway sauteed. I've added about a half a cup of chicken stock that I have. I've got some all-purpose flour for my dumplings. I'm gonna just take a couple of pinches like this, and I'm gonna dump that in there. Now we're just gonna stir this around. It's in just the broth, so there's no oil. We really don't want the oil. I don't like the oil. I think it makes it too greasy. And we're gonna cook this down, and we're gonna let that flour kind of break down and then start to brown just a little bit. We don't want to brown it. We're not making a roux. I just want to thicken this up a little bit. I want to get that flavor of the flour starting to cook. As you can see, it soaked up the moisture in there. It's going to start to thicken up, and we're going to cook it till it starts to turn to a good consistency. We'll show you here in a second. You can see it's been cooking for a little while. You can see it's starting to brown on that bottom. That's what we're looking for. We're gonna add about a cup of chicken stock from our previous bowl. We're gonna give that a good stir, good mixing, get all that off the bottom. It's not burnt. You don't want it burned though if it's set down there. That's gonna give us some color, and it's definitely gonna give us some flavor. Now that we got that off the bottom, we're gonna let this come to a good simmer, and then we're gonna come in with the chicken. All right, guys, so once I shred my chicken, I like to dump some of my chicken stock back in there and let it soak up some more of the seasonings while I'm waiting. But now I'm gonna add all this to my pot. Get that mixed up. Woo. Man, I wish y'all had smell-o-vision. Now we're gonna check the fire on our little rocket stove. And then we're gonna get started on them dumplings. Oh yeah, we still good. All right, guys, let's make our dumplings. All-purpose flour. I put a little bit, I'm talking like a teaspoon of baking powder. I don't even know if you need to, it's just something I do. I'm gonna put some sauce bone seasoning. And I'm gonna put some of this voodoo. Now at this point, we're just gonna get it a little mix. Yes, I washed my hands, and if I didn't, well, it don't matter. I'm probably the only one gonna eat it besides my wife. Now I've got some my chicken stock I put in this bowl earlier. I'm gonna use the chicken stock because again, I want to keep that flavor right there in the mix. All right, we're gonna throw some flour down on our cutting board here. Get us a good coat of flour. I'm gonna throw a little bit more on our dumplings. You can see they're still just a hair sticky. Now let's get them out on our rolling surface here. What did I do with my rolling pin? Here it is. We'll get a little flour on our rolling pin. A little bit of flour up on here. I'm gonna start rolling them out really slow. Y'all can see how we use that chicken stock. You can see the color in here from the seasonings and the onions and everything else. And when you get your dumpling, it don't actually just taste like a big old chunk of flour. You got good seasonings in it. Uh-oh, get back over there. Now we'll get a little bit more flour. Rub that over the top. This thing is still warm from the chicken stock, which is pretty cool. I love knowing all this came together fresh and like it did. Now, I'm gonna pull our old Excalibur blade out. And again, you do the dumplings you like. These are the ones that we like. We're just gonna saw through here. All right, there you go. We've got this cut up. Now we've got our chicken and our chicken anyway. Everything's cooking up. We've got a little bit of these dumplings. We want to keep them kind of separate. We don't want them to stick to each other. You can add a little flour. You're not going to hurt them. We'll put this bowl right here. We'll kind of keep them covered. We'll actually just take some flour like this, come over the top of them. That way they won't stick together as bad. And now at this point, like I said, they're not all the same shape. Some's going to be a little bit bigger, and that's fine. I like bigger dumplings sometimes. Some of them will be like this. And I like the thinner dumplings. I find they cook more even. It always seems every time I've had, you know, the old drop dumplings, sometimes the insides are not cooked the same, and you know, it's just a personal preference. It ain't nothing bad about them. Maybe I just can't cook them, or I hadn't had nobody that could cook them good, cook them for me. All right, guys, so we got our chicken and our chicken stock. Been cooking for a while now. We got our dumplings made. We're gonna drop them in one at a time. We don't want them to stick together, so we're gonna take our time and drop them in. A while ago, we was sitting here talking, doing all this, and something was brought to my attention. I got green stains on both my sleeves, and my cameraman actually kind of called me out and asked me what the heck that was. And I had to stop and think for a little while, because I didn't even realize I had this on there. And then it hit me what happened. I got up this morning and I went out in the garden, and if y'all don't know, it's hotter than a spoon at a crack house out here. And I was out there pruning tomatoes and other things, and I guess I got that old green sap and stuff off the plants on my hands, and I wiped my face, and periodically I'd go to sweating, and I was wiping my face on my shoulders. So I've heard of having green thumb, but I never had green shoulders until today, I believe. But we'll get these dumplings in there. Like I said, we're gonna go slow, one at a time. We just don't want them to all get stuck and matted together where we open the lid and there's just one big old pile of dough on top. So we'll give them just a couple of seconds to cook down. All right, we got the old chicken and dumpling. Woo, woo. Man, look at them old dumplings. That chicken. What goes with that? My favorite, that old cornbread.